before we get out of here, let's get into the top fives.
Top five.
I almost forgot about the top five. So we'll start off with the top 5 TV sports personalities.
Top five.
So we have a lot. Like the one that comes to mind the most for me, R.I.P. is actually Stuart Scott. That's the one that kind of like I remember the most, and like I think it's the most iconic like sports personality for me. So I mean, I'll get into mine first. So my honorable mentions on that line start with Stephen A. Smith, Queens-born. He has to be the honorable mention because I recently haven't agreed with a lot of his takes with the Knicks, and that's been a reason for me to distance myself with Stephen A. Smith. But Stephen A. Smith is definitely like an idol. Like I respect him. I think he does a great job of like being very sharp at his words and being able to say what he has to say very well with good wordplay. I move right into my next person would be Michelle Beal. Michelle Beal should be on like the NBA Countdown show. She's on Sports Nation. I originally saw her when she was on Sports Nation with Kyle and Cowherd, and her shared the show years ago. Well, I think she's actually attractive, but she's also like, she understands sports. She's a woman that actually knows what she's talking about and doesn't seem to bite no punches about saying what she feels. And I appreciate that. I think sports personalities should have their own opinion. Like, don't stick to what the narrative is. Like, this is what you should feel. You know what I mean? I think she definitely carried that.
She spoke a lot about, especially about the math situation.
Exactly that. And then I move into the next female sports personality. That's one of my honorable mentions. Kate Fagan. She's a lot on the Around the Horn. I think she's a Boston writer. But she's also very opinionated. Like, very sharp. And her articles are well written. So Kate Fagan. Well written. And then lastly on my honorable mentions, Shannon Sharp. Very entertaining, yo. He bringing out Black and Miles on Undisputed. I love it.
And little Hennessy bottles.
I love it. Like, and he also does bring a good perspective to the media world. Like, he brings a very unique perspective, and he keeps it very real to who he is. So I love Shannon Sharp. Let's get into the countdown now. Number 5, Carrie Champion. Used to be the host of First Take. When it was Skip Bayless and Stephen A. Smith, she was the female that would host that. She's African American, very outspoken. She's on the morning sports centers. And you see her recently in the commercial driving the Uber with LeBron and Kevin Durant in the back. Mm-hmm. That's Carrie Champion. She's a very good sports personality.
Yeah, she does sports and everything.
Yeah, she does a lot of good things. I think she's very sharp. I like watching her too. Number 4, I wanted to put him high on this list because this is my guy. I also follow him on Twitter too. Bomani Jones. I had to stop watching Highly Questionable with Poppy because Bomani's no longer on it.
You don't go there, so it's no longer.
I needed the energy between Poppy and Bomani and the sun. Love Bomani Jones. I used to listen to his radio show. I think he does a very good job of like almost being a younger version of Stephen A. Smith with less yelling, more sensible equations, and also could be fun. Number 3. And this is probably why I like football as much as I do. Chris Berman.
Gotta put that man up.
Like, I imitated for years playing Madden. The voice that I would imitate is Chris Berman. Like, when I'm making my replays of things that I did in Madden and I'm playing the announcer, I'm Chris Berman. Like, that was the voice I would imitate. So, shout out to Chris Berman, ESPN for years. Since I can remember, since I was a child all the way up to now, Chris Berman is still there doing his thing. And he used to really be on that prime time. Like, you really tune into prime time just to hear his narrations of the highlights. He made it sound like it was really in the thunder. All that. Like, he really... And then he had the nicknames. Mm-hmm. His nickname game is off the meters. I also want to bring in Walt Clyde Frazier as an honorable mention. I didn't get to bring him into my top 5. Nick Legend, dishing and swishing. I did want to bring him out. Like, he's a very great sports personality also. Number 2, though. Hand down. Man down.
Mark Jackson.
Gotta be Mark. Like, he's my favorite to watch or listen to when I'm watching the basketball games. Hands down. My next is Hubie Brown, because Hubie Brown really breaks down everything into statistics. I absolutely love that. But my favorite has to be Mark Jackson. He has a quote for everything that a player does. And then he gets real passionate about his arguments with Jeff Van Gundy. Love Mark Jackson. But number one, the number one sports TV personality right now on TV and on the media can be no other than Michigan's own Jalen Rose. Not going to be able to do it. I think Jalen Rose is phenomenal. I think he's entertaining. He's sharp. He speaks to, I think, all crowds. He's almost like the Drake of sports media. He can sing you the hook, but can also give you bars that the hood respects. He is that guy. He's the one that could blend both sides, the streets and the corporate, well. That's that Jalen Rose. I think he's the best out there right now. I like watching him. I think he's doing his thing out there. And that's my top five.
Very nice. I like that. I don't have no honorable mentions. I'll be like, Sportscasters as it is. I just can remember the ones that I actually can listen to. So, mine's gonna be my top five. I guess I can give I give an honorable mention to Jalen Rose. I don't listen to him that much, but I do. He's actually pretty dope. I give him that. Also give an honorable mention to Max Kellerman.
Okay.
Oh, he's always interesting to listen to.
Shout out to Skip Bayless on that note.
He's dope. He's funny as fuck, but sometimes he be a little whatever. But I do like him in boxing. I do appreciate him because in boxing he's really amazing with the especially when he's talking to some of those old timers over there.
Okay.
But going on with this, I'm gonna go with number 5, Rich Eisen at an NFL Network.
Okay.
He's one of my mans. I think every year he does the 40-yard dash. For the scouting report, you got to tune into that. I actually stopped watching NFL Network because he doesn't do the NFL Night no more.
Oh.
So then I barely watch it no more. But when he's there, it's amazing. One of the best hosts. He made like original NFL Network host.
That's a fact. When it was on HBO.
Yeah. 4th, I'm gonna go with Bohemi Jones. Bomani Jones. Like same exact scenario. If it wasn't for, I mean, that's the only reason I was watching that show. I tried to watch it the other day. I couldn't. It doesn't have the same thing. Like I only watch it for the commercials when the Poppy's rapping and he's sitting there on his phone and he looks up to him like.
Dig it, like the energy between Poppy, the son, and Bomani. I think that was special.
Perfect. But it's like it's kind of torn from that, and he's an amazing there. 3rd, I'm gonna have to go with Ray Hudson. He's a commentator for soccer.
Okay.
He is, just remember this person. He's the equivalent of Walt Frazier.
Okay.
He's like, he cut through like a slice of butter on a roll and put it down on the bed. Like, his analogies are amazing. Like, when we're done, like, legit, you gotta put this on and you just gotta listen to him talk. It's hilarious.
That's 100.
2nd, Chris Berman. That was the original person I listened to. Just sing, boom. He used to do this thing where
feel me.
When he used to do this thing where it was it wasn't even him.
His nickname game.
Yo, it's just everything. Like he's the one that gave the Inconvenient Truth. He gave Inconvenient Truth. I think that was Frank Gore.
Okay.
He gave him that nickname. His
nickname game.
It's just.
And the way he would say it, like it would be a performance with it.
I used to love when he used to do this, where every time they went and bet, they went and they picked the teams, and everyone would say, "Picking Oakland." He goes, "So you're all going with Oakland?" Yes. I'll pick the other team.
Nice.
I love when he did that. I always love when he did that.
All day in the morning.
I just want to go back to one thing. Rich Eisen, he's always said this thing. He's love for Ray Rice.
Mm-hmm.
So they say Ray Rice running for the Ravens. When he played Dion, roll, because he came out of Ruckus. So he just says all the art. I just love that when he's doing.
That's cute. I like guys. Like, he's
dope.
A good host, man.
He's dope. And my number 1 is gonna go to Stuart Scott.
Okay.
Stuart Scott. He was one of the best. I'm gonna say it. He was very cockeyed. I didn't know if he was looking at me or my brother, but he was so dope what he told to do.
This is the way of bringing like rap lyrics.
Yo, it's just
Sports Center highlights.
And he'd be like in abundance, and he will spit it talking to you, and it'd be like, and then
it'll
just go black.
Good. Like, oh wow.
And it just go black, like just like, yo, he just hit that.
Yeah, he was good money.
That was
definitely sad for me though.
Yeah, that's dope, man.
That was definitely a dope top 5, man.
Yeah, that was fun.
Pretty good top 5 for sure.